The transport ship shuddered as it docked with Station Viridian. Hana pressed her face against the small window, watching the massive space station grow larger. Her heart pounded in her chest. This was it, the Galactic Combat Academy, the most elite training facility in 12 star systems. She was the first human to attend in 3 generations. The docking clamps locked into place with a heavy thud. Hana grabbed her small bag and joined the line of new cadets heading toward the exit. As the airlock doors opened, she stepped into a wide corridor filled with aliens. Hana had seen pictures, of course, videos and holograms back on Earth, but nothing prepared her for the reality. A massive reptilian creature walked past her, its scales gleaming under the station lights. It stood at least 8 feet tall, with muscles that rippled beneath green-black skin. Yellow eyes glanced down at her and lips pulled back to reveal rows of sharp teeth. It laughed, a deep rumbling sound. "A human," the creature said to its companion. "They actually sent a human?" Hana kept walking, clutching her bag tighter. She was used to being small. At 5 feet and 4 inches, she had always been shorter than most people back home. But here, surrounded by these massive beings, she felt tiny. More aliens filled the corridor. Some had 4 arms covered in crystalline skin that reflected light like diamonds. Others looked like giant insects with multifaceted eyes and clicking mandibles. There were beings made of what looked like living metal, and creatures that seemed to float rather than walk. All of them stared at her. "Is that the Earth representative?" Someone whispered. "So small. Look at those tiny arms. Earth is a low-gravity world. She probably can't even lift her own bag in standard gravity." The whispers followed Hana as she made her way to the registration area. A holographic display showed her assigned quarters. Block 7, room 214. She studied the station map, memorizing the route. "You must be the human." Hana turned. A being with 4 crystalline arms stood before her, looking down from a height of nearly 7 feet. Its body was transparent in places, showing geometric patterns of light moving beneath its skin. "I am Thexalan, commandant of this academy," it said. Its voice sounded like wind chimes. "I must confess I was surprised when Earth requested a slot in this cycle." "I volunteered, sir," Hana said, keeping her voice steady. "Volunteered?" Thexalan's crystalline face was hard to read, but Hana detected something like amusement. "Tell me, young human, do you understand what this academy demands?" "Yes, sir. The mortality rate in training is 0.3%. The injury rate is 47%. The failure rate is 62%. Thexalan leaned closer. "This is not a place for soft species." Hana met the commandant's multifaceted eyes. "With respect, sir, humans aren't as soft as we look." Thexalan straightened, making a sound like tinkling glass. Laughter, Hana realized. "We shall see." Dismissed. Hana found her way to Block 7 through corridors that seemed designed for beings much larger than herself. The doors were massive. The ceiling stretched high overhead. Even the air felt heavier, thicker. Room 214's door slid open at her touch. Inside, she found 2 beds, 2 storage lockers, and 1 very large, very angry-looking reptilian alien. "You?" The alien rose from its bed, towering over her. "You are my bunkmate?" "I'm Hana," she said, setting her bag on the empty bed. "From Earth. I am Vector of the Draknari Imperium." He crossed his massive arms. "I requested a warrior as my roommate, not a fragile little creature." "I am a warrior," Hana said quietly. Vector laughed, a sound like rocks grinding together. "A warrior? You barely reach my chest. Your arms are like twigs. I could break you with one hand." "Maybe," Hana said, beginning to unpack her bag. "But you won't." "And why is that?" "Because we're on the same side now." She pulled out her training uniform, examining it. "And because I'm going to graduate from this academy, same as you." Vector snorted, flames flickering from his nostrils. "Earth's gravity is what? 0.8 of standard? You probably struggled just walking through the corridors. The gauntlet will crush you." Hana had heard about the gauntlet. Every cadet had to pass it within the first month or face immediate expulsion. It was supposed to be impossible for most species. Even the strongest cadets took several minutes to complete it. "I'll manage," she said. "Manage?" Vector's eyes widened in what might have been disbelief. 3 cycles ago, a Vryn cadet tried the gauntlet. She was twice your size, could lift 3 tons, and had 4 legs for stability. She failed. Had to be carried to the medical bay. "I'm not Vryn," Hana said. "No, you are weaker." Vector settled back onto his bed, which groaned under his weight. "I give you 3 days before you request transfer back to your little backwater planet." Hana didn't respond. She continued unpacking, placing her few belongings in the locker. A data pad with her training materials, 3 spare uniforms, a small photo of her family. Her brother had made her promise to come home with stories. She intended to keep that promise. That evening, all new cadets gathered in the main assembly hall. Hundreds of beings from dozens of species filled the vast space. Hana stood near the back, trying to avoid attention. It didn't work. "That's her," someone said loudly. "The human." Heads turned, eyes of every color and shape focused on her. A group of cadets approached. The leader was another crystalline being, smaller than Thexalan but still imposing. "I am Taiyang," he said. "I have never seen a human before. Tell me, is it true your species has no natural weapons? No claws, no venom, no protective shell?" "That's true," Hana said. Taiyang's crystalline face somehow conveyed smugness. "Then how did your species survive? What do you hunt with? How do you defend your territory?" "We think," Hana said simply. The group erupted in laughter. Another alien, an insect-like being with 6 legs, clicked its mandibles. "She thinks?" "As if thinking can stop a predator's jaws." "As if thinking can lift a heavy object," another added. "As if thinking can dodge a blade." The laughter spread through nearby groups. Soon, half the hall seemed to be laughing at the small human who claimed thinking was a weapon. Hana stood quietly, waiting for it to pass. She had expected this. On Earth, she had studied the psychology of other species. She knew that many of them valued physical strength above all else. They saw humans as weak because humans had no natural armor, no claws, no size advantage. They didn't understand yet. That was fine. Commandant Thexalan's voice rang out across the hall, calling everyone to attention. The laughter died as the Commandant explained the schedule for the coming weeks. Training would begin tomorrow at dawn. Physical conditioning, combat techniques, weapon proficiency, tactical simulations, and in 30 days, every cadet would face the gauntlet. "The current record stands at 47 seconds, Thexalan announced, "set by General Krikstar of the Draknari Imperium 15 cycles ago. Most of you will complete it in 2 to 3 minutes. Some of you will fail entirely. Those who fail will be expelled." The hall fell silent. Hana could feel the tension. "This is your only warning," Thexalan continued. "The Academy does not accept weakness. Prove your worth or leave." As the assembly dismissed, Hana made her way back to her quarters. She passed groups of cadets already forming alliances, sharing stories of their homeworlds and their combat experience. No one approached her. Back in her room, Vector was sharpening his claws on a piece of stone. The sound was like knives on a whetstone. "Tomorrow will be difficult for you," he said without looking up. "The gravity chamber runs at 1.2 standard. Your weak human bones will snap." "Maybe," Hana said, climbing into her bed. "Or maybe I trained in 1.5 gravity back home." Vector paused. "Impossible. You said Earth was 0.8 standard." "It is," Hana said. "That's why we built gravity chambers. When you're weaker, you have to train harder." For the first time, Vector looked at her with something other than contempt. Curiosity, perhaps. Or confusion. "You are strange, human," he said finally. "My name is Hana," she replied, closing her eyes, "and tomorrow, you'll see just how strange humans can be." In the darkness, she smiled. Let them laugh. Let them underestimate her. She hadn't come all this way to fail. She had studied every file she could access about the Academy, about the Gauntlet, about the training methods used here. While they relied on strength, she would rely on something else. something they didn't value yet. Tomorrow, the real training would begin, and Hana would show them what humanity was truly capable of. The first week nearly killed her. Hana woke each morning at dawn, her muscles screaming in protest. The gravity on Station Viridian was set to 1.2 standard, and every movement felt like dragging weights. But she had told the truth to Vector. She had trained in higher gravity back on Earth, preparing for exactly this. The other cadets noticed she kept up. Barely, but she kept up. The physical training was brutal. They ran through obstacle courses designed for beings twice her size. They lifted weights that seemed impossible. They sparred in combat rings where a single hit could break bones. Hana learned to dodge rather than block. She learned to move efficiently, wasting no energy. While others relied on strength, she relied on speed and timing. But it was the gauntlet that occupied her mind every waking moment. The gauntlet stood in the center of the Academy's main training facility. It was a massive structure, 3 stories tall, filled with challenges designed to test every aspect of a warrior's abilities. Everyone who passed through the Academy's doors had to complete it. Most took several minutes. The best took under a minute. The record, set by the legendary Draknari General Krikstar, stood at 47 seconds. Hana spent her free time studying it. Late at night, when other cadets were sleeping or socializing, she accessed holographic recordings of previous runs. She watched hundreds of attempts, analyzing each one. She noted patterns in how the obstacles functioned, the timing of the gravity shifts, the attack patterns of the combat drones, the sequence of the challenge rooms. She filled her datapad with notes, measurements, calculations, probability matrices. One night during her 3rd week, she was reviewing footage in the empty training bay when she heard clicking sounds behind her. "You are always here," a voice said. Hana turned to see Minji, one of the Vryn cadets. She was an insect-like being with large multifaceted eyes and 6 legs. Unlike many of the others, Minji had never mocked Hana. She had simply observed, quiet and thoughtful. "I'm studying," Hana said. "I have noticed." Minji moved closer, her legs making soft clicking sounds on the metal floor. "Others rely on their natural abilities. You rely on understanding." "I don't have natural abilities," Hana admitted. "Not like you all do. So I have to be smarter." Minji's antennae twitched. "Intelligence is an ability, perhaps the most important one." They watched a recording together. A Draknari cadet, massive and powerful, charging through the gauntlet. He completed it in 1 minute and 14 seconds, using pure strength to overcome every obstacle. "He is impressive," Minji said. "He's wasteful," Hana replied. She rewound the footage, pointing at specific moments. "See here? He fights the drones directly. Takes him 8 seconds to destroy them. But if he had moved 3 steps to the left, he would have triggered their friendly fire protocols. They would have fought each other." Minji's eyes seemed to brighten. "You see patterns?" "Everything has patterns," Hana said. "The gauntlet was designed by programmers and engineers. They had to follow rules, logic. Once you understand the rules, you can use them." "Fascinating," Minji said softly. "The others do not think this way." "I know," Hana said. "That's going to be my advantage." Word spread through the Academy that the humans spent every night studying the gauntlet. Most cadets found this amusing. Taeyang, the arrogant crystalline cadet, made sure everyone heard his opinion. "The human thinks she can pass the gauntlet by watching videos," he announced in the dining hall. "As if studying can replace strength." His friends laughed. "Maybe she plans to think her way through the gravity well, or calculate the correct angle to dodge a blade." Even Vector, who had grudgingly accepted Hana as his roommate, shook his head. "You should be training your body," he told her one evening. "Building muscle. Improving your reflexes." "I am training," Hana said. "Just differently. Videos are not training. Knowledge is training." Vector snorted flames. "Knowledge will not help when you face the gauntlet. It is designed to test physical ability, combat readiness, survival instinct. It's designed to test if you can complete it," Hana corrected. "The method doesn't matter." As the weeks passed, cadets began their gauntlet attempts. Each failure was public. Each success was celebrated. The testing took place in the main arena, where everyone could watch on massive displays. A Korvath cadet named Jiwoo went first. She was enormous even by alien standards, with 4 powerful arms and armor-like skin. She approached the gauntlet with confidence. roaring a battle cry as she entered. 2 minutes and 37 seconds later, she emerged victorious. The crowd cheered. Taeyang went next. He was fast and clever, using his crystalline body's light-bending properties to confuse the combat drones. He finished in 1 minute and 29 seconds, then bowed to the applauding crowd. More cadets followed. Some succeeded. Some failed, limping away to the medical bay or facing immediate expulsion. Hana watched every run, taking notes. She saw how the successful ones moved. More importantly, she saw their mistakes. The wasted movements, the unnecessary confrontations, the moments where they fought obstacles instead of understanding them. The night before her scheduled attempt, Hana was in the training bay again. She had programmed a holographic simulation of the gauntlet, running through it in her mind over and over. "You will embarrass Earth." Hana looked up to find Vector standing in the doorway, arms crossed. "Maybe," she said. "There is no maybe. You are not strong enough, not fast enough. The gauntlet will break you." He stepped closer. "I have seen warriors twice your size fail, 3 times your strength. What makes you think you can succeed?" Hana met his eyes. "Because they tried to beat the gauntlet. I'm trying to understand it." "That makes no sense. It makes perfect sense." She gestured to her holographic display. "Every obstacle in there follows rules. The drones have targeting priorities. The gravity fields shift on timers. The combat simulation has a boot sequence. Everything is programmed. Everything is predictable." "You sound insane," Vector said, but his voice held uncertainty. "Maybe I am," Hana said. "But tomorrow you'll see if insanity works." Morning came too quickly. Hana dressed in her training uniform, her hands surprisingly steady. She had run through her plan 1,000 times. She knew every step, every movement, every split-second decision she would need to make. The arena was packed. Hundreds of cadets filled the stands, eager to see the human attempt the impossible. Hana could hear the whispers as she walked to the starting line. She won't even make it past the first obstacle. Give her 30 seconds before she quits. "This is going to be painful to watch, Commandant." Texelan stood at the control podium. "Cadet Hana of Earth," his voice boomed across the arena. "Are you prepared to attempt the gauntlet?" "Yes, sir," Hana said. "You may begin when ready." Hana took her position at the starting line. She closed her eyes, visualizing the course ahead. The zero-gravity combat zone, the drone field, the shifting platforms, the neural disruptor chamber, the final combat simulation, 47 seconds. That was the record, set by a being 3 times her size with reflexes far superior to human capability. She wasn't trying to match it. That would be impossible. She was trying to shatter it. "Ready," she said. The buzzer sounded. Hana exploded forward. Her first steps were calculated perfectly, using Earth's higher gravity training to generate speed that surprised the watching crowd. She hit the zero-gravity zone at full sprint and launched herself into the air. While other cadets flailed in zero gravity, Hana moved with precision. She had studied how momentum worked without gravity. Every movement was minimal, efficient. She touched a wall, redirected, flew toward the exit. 3 seconds gone. The drone field activated. 6 combat drones emerged from the walls, their weapons charging. Standard protocol for every cadet was to fight them. Hana didn't fight them. She moved 3 steps left and threw a piece of debris at the nearest drone sensor. The drone identified the projectile as a threat and fired. Its blast hit the drone behind it. The damaged drone's targeting system malfunctioned. It classified all nearby drones as hostile. They began firing at each other. Hana ran through the chaos untouched. 6 seconds gone. The shifting platforms appeared ahead, massive blocks that changed position randomly. Cadets usually studied them, waiting for a pattern. Hana didn't wait. She had memorized the timing from countless recordings. She knew exactly when each platform would shift. She ran across them without breaking stride, her feet touching each surface at the perfect moment. 9 seconds gone. The neural disruptor field activated, designed to slow reflexes and confuse thinking. Most cadets pushed through it with sheer willpower, taking precious seconds to cross. Hana had practiced meditation for years. She cleared her mind, letting her body move on muscle memory alone. The disruptor couldn't slow thoughts that weren't there. 11 seconds gone. The final challenge appeared. The combat simulation, a holographic opponent designed to test fighting ability. It usually took cadets 15 to 20 seconds to defeat it. Hana reached the control panel. She had found something in her research that no one else had noticed. The simulation had a boot sequence, a tiny window of vulnerability lasting 0.3 seconds when it first activated. She struck the panel at the exact right moment, in the exact right spot. The simulation flickered and died. 11.24 seconds gone. The exit door opened. The arena fell into stunned silence. The arena remained frozen in silence. Hundreds of cadets stared at the display screen, at the impossible number glowing there. 11:24 seconds. The previous record had stood for 15 cycles. Now it was shattered by a human girl who barely reached most of their chests. Commandant Thexalen's crystalline hands moved rapidly across his control panel. Run full diagnostics, he ordered the technicians. Check every sensor, every timer, every system. Hana stood at the finish line watching calmly. She knew what the diagnostics would show. She had done nothing wrong. She had simply understood the course better than anyone else. The technicians worked quickly, their displays filling with data streams. Minutes passed. The crowd began to murmur. Equipment malfunction, someone whispered. Has to be. No one can complete it that fast. Especially not a human. Finally, the head technician, a Korvath named Dayun, looked up at the commandant. Sir, all systems are functioning perfectly. There are no errors, no malfunctions. Impossible, Thexalen said. Run them again. Sir, we have run them 3 times. The results are accurate. Dayun's voice was firm. The human completed the gauntlet in 11.24 seconds. The murmuring grew louder. Hana heard shock in their voices, disbelief, and something else. Anger. Taeyang stood up in the stands, his crystalline body reflecting the arena lights. This is wrong. She must have cheated somehow. Yes, another cadet shouted. She spent weeks studying the course. She found a way to break it. That's not how the gauntlet works. The shouts grew louder. Hana stood still, keeping her face neutral. She had expected this reaction. When you shattered a record this badly, people looked for reasons to dismiss it. Commandant Thexalen raised one hand. Silence fell immediately. Cadet Hana, he said, his voice carrying across the arena. Explain your method. Hana took a breath. I studied the gauntlet's design. I analyzed the timing of every obstacle. I learned the targeting protocols of the combat drones. I memorized the platform shift sequences. I found the vulnerability in the combat simulation's boot sequence. You exploited weaknesses, Taeyang called out. That's cheating. No, Hana said firmly. That's strategy. The gauntlet is a test of combat readiness. In real combat, you study your enemy. You find their weaknesses. You use intelligence to gain advantage. That's what I did, but you didn't fight. Jiwoo, the massive Korvath, stood up. You made the drones fight each other. You disabled the final simulation without combat. Where is the honor in that? Honor doesn't win battles, Hana said. Strategy does. The arena erupted in argument. Some cadets agreed with Taeyang and Jiwoo, claiming Hana had violated the spirit of the test. Others, including Minji, defended her, pointing out that she had followed all the rules. Vector's voice cut through the noise. She completed the course. Nothing in the rules says how you must complete it. Only that you must finish. Easy for you to defend her, Taeyang shot back. She's your bunkmate. You're biased. I defended no one, Vector growled, flames flickering from his nostrils. I state facts. The human followed the rules. She completed the gauntlet. Her time is legitimate. Commandant Thexalen held up his hand again. Enough, this matter requires consideration. Cadet Hana, you are dismissed. All cadets return to your duties. As Hana left the arena, she felt hundreds of eyes watching her. Some with respect, most with anger or suspicion. She had made enemies today. More enemies than she could count. Back in her quarters, she sat on her bed and finally allowed herself to shake. The adrenaline was wearing off. Her muscles ached. Her head pounded from the neural disruptor field. But she had done it. She had proven that humans belonged here. The door slid open. Vector entered, his expression thoughtful. That was extraordinary, he said. Thank you. Also extremely stupid. Hana looked up. What? Vector sat on his bed, which groaned under his weight. You have made powerful enemies today. Taeyang's family has influence in the Galactic Council. Jiwoo's father is a military commander. They do not like being shown up. Especially not by a species they consider weak. I didn't mean to insult anyone, Hana said. I just wanted to pass the test. You did more than pass it. You destroyed it. You made every other cadet's time look pathetic. Vector's eyes were serious. That kind of achievement makes others feel small. And when beings feel small, they attack. He was right. Over the next few days, Hana learned exactly how right. Her meals began arriving cold, the portions smaller than they should be. Someone tampered with her training equipment, making it malfunction at critical moments. She found her uniforms torn, her datapad's files corrupted. The harassment was subtle but constant. And always, no one saw who did it. In training sessions, instructors paired her with the largest, most aggressive opponents. During combat drills, her partners hit harder than necessary. In team exercises, her squad mates excluded her from planning sessions. Taeyang made sure she knew who was behind it. You don't belong here, human, he said one day in the corridor. The Galactic Council is investigating your gauntlet run. When they find proof you cheated, you'll be expelled. I didn't cheat, Hana said quietly. You exploited the system. You made a mockery of our traditions. His crystalline face somehow conveyed contempt. The gauntlet is meant to test warrior spirit, strength, courage. You showed none of those things. I showed intelligence, Hana replied. That's strength too, Taeyang laughed. Intelligence? You memorized patterns like a computer. That's not intelligence. That's just data processing. He walked away, leaving Hana alone in the corridor. She leaned against the wall, exhaustion washing over her. She had trained so hard, studied so much, pushed herself to the limit, and now they wanted to take it all away. But not everyone turned against her. Minji found her in the training bay late one night. I recorded your preparation, the Vrin said. All those nights you spent studying. I have documentation of your methods. Why? Hana asked. Because it was fascinating. Because I wanted to understand how you think. Minji's antennae twitched. And because I knew others would try to discredit you. She showed Hana the recordings. Hours of footage showing Hana analyzing the gauntlet, taking notes, running calculations. It was clear evidence that her success came from preparation, not cheating. Thank you, Hana said, feeling tears threaten. This means everything. It is only fair, Minji said. You earned your achievement. I will not let others steal it. The next day, Commandant Thexelen called an assembly. The entire academy gathered in the main hall. Hana stood near the back, trying to avoid attention. The Galactic Council has completed its investigation, Thexelen announced. They found no evidence of rule violations, no equipment tampering, no external assistance. Cadet Hana's time of 11.24 seconds is legitimate. The hall erupted in protests. Cadets shouted their objections. Some called for the gauntlet to be redesigned. Others demanded Hana be retested under observation. Thexalen's voice cut through the noise like a blade. However, the Council has concerns about the precedent this sets. They question whether exploiting system weaknesses represents true warrior capability. Hana's heart sank. Therefore, Thexalen continued, they have offered Cadet Hana a choice. She may accept a modified record time of 47 seconds, matching General Krikstar's achievement. This would preserve Academy tradition and prevent controversy. The hall fell silent. Everyone turned to look at Hana. Or, Thexalen said, she may defend her time through public challenge. Any cadet may attempt to beat her record using her methods. If anyone succeeds, her record stands. If all fail, questions about her capability will be resolved. It was a trap. Hana saw it immediately. If she accepted the modified time, she would always wonder if she had truly earned her place. But if she chose the challenge, every cadet in the academy would try to beat her, and if even one succeeded, her achievement would be diminished. Still, there was really only one choice. I'll defend my time, Hana said clearly. But I'll do more than that, the crowd murmured. Thexalen's crystalline face tilted. Explain. I'll train anyone who wants to beat my record, Hana said, her voice growing stronger. I'll teach my methods, share my research, show them everything I learned. She looked around the hall, meeting the eyes of her critics. Because I didn't succeed by keeping secrets. I succeeded by understanding. And understanding can be shared. The hall erupted in shocked conversation. Taeyang stood up. You would help us beat your own record? Yes, Hana said. Because my goal isn't to be the best forever. My goal is to prove humans belong here. And if teaching you my methods proves that, then that's what I'll do. Vector was watching her with an expression she couldn't quite read. Pride, maybe, or perhaps bewilderment. Minji's antennae vibrated rapidly, a sign of excitement among her people. Commandant Thexallen was silent for a long moment. Then he said, "Very well. Cadet Hana, you have 1 month. Any cadet may train with you and attempt to beat your record. At the end of that month, we will evaluate the results." As the assembly dismissed, cadets began approaching Hana. Some were angry, determined to prove her methods were worthless. Others were curious, genuinely interested in learning. Taeyang pushed through the crowd. "I will be the first to train with you," he said. "And I will be the first to beat your record." "You're welcome to try," Hana said. As the crowd dispersed, Jiwoo approached. The massive Korvathlu. The training sessions began the next morning. Hana arrived at the practice bay to find 12 cadets waiting. Some looked eager. Others looked angry. All of them looked determined. Taeyang stood at the front of the group. "Show us these methods of yours, human. Show us how thinking beats strength." Hana took a deep breath. Teaching was harder than doing. She had to find words to explain instincts she had developed through countless hours of study. But she tried. "The gauntlet has patterns," she began. "Everything in it follows rules. The drones, the platforms, the gravity shifts. Once you understand the rules, you can predict what will happen next." "We know there are patterns," a Vryn cadet said impatiently. "That doesn't help." "It does if you study them properly." Hana pulled up a holographic display of the drone field. "Look at how the drones target. They prioritize the closest threat. But they also have friendly fire protocols. If you position yourself correctly, you can make them shoot each other." She demonstrated with the hologram, showing the exact positions and timing needed. Some cadets watched intently. Others looked skeptical. "This requires precision," Jiwoo said, her massive arms crossed. "I am not built for precision. I am built for power." "Then use power differently," Hana suggested. "You don't need to fight the drones. Just get them close enough together that when you strike one, the explosion disables the others." Jiwoo's eyes widened slightly. "Show me." They spent hours in the practice bay. Hana demonstrated techniques, explained strategies, and answered questions. Some cadets picked up the concepts quickly. Others struggled. Taeyang was the most difficult. He refused to accept that his natural advantages could be set aside. "I am fast," he insisted. "I should use my speed to strike quickly, not to position drones." "You can," Hana said patiently. "But you'll use more energy and take more time. If you position them first, your speed becomes even more effective." "I don't need to be more effective. I am already superior." Hana bit back frustration. "Then you won't beat my record." Taeyang's crystalline face flushed with color. "I will beat it." Without your methods, he stormed out of the practice bay. 3 other cadets followed him. Vector, who had been watching from the side, approached. "You're wasting time on those who don't want to learn." "Maybe," Hana admitted. "But I offered to teach everyone. I have to try." Over the following weeks, the academy split into factions. Some cadets embraced Hana's methods, spending hours studying the gauntlet's patterns and practicing new approaches. Others rejected her entirely, insisting that warrior tradition mattered more than efficiency. The results were dramatic. A Korvath named Hyon completed the gauntlet in 52 seconds using Hana's techniques. His previous best had been 2 minutes and 8 seconds. He credited his improvement to understanding rather than strength. Minji, already a capable cadet, reduced her time to 49 seconds. "I always knew there were patterns," she told Hana, "but you showed me how to see them." Even Jiwoo, who had initially resisted, managed to complete the course in 58 seconds. For a being her size, it was remarkable. She grudgingly admitted that Hana's methods worked, but not everyone succeeded. Taeyang attempted the gauntlet using his own approach. He relied on pure speed, trying to blitz through obstacles without understanding them. His time was 1 minute and 12 seconds. Faster than his first attempt, but nowhere near Hana's record. He blamed her. "You gave us incomplete information," he accused in the dining hall. "You kept secrets so no one could beat you." "I taught everything I know," Hana said quietly. "If you didn't learn it, that's not my fault." "You're a liar." Taeyang's voice carried across the hall. "You want us to fail so you can keep your fraudulent record." A Draknari instructor named Doyen, who had been listening, stood up. He was older than most instructors, his scales scarred from countless battles. "Cadet Taeyang is correct," Doyen said. The humans' methods undermine everything this academy stands for. The dining hall fell silent. Instructors rarely involve themselves in cadet disputes. We train warriors here, Doyen continued, beings who will fight for the Galactic Coalition. Warriors need courage, strength, and honor. They don't need tricks and shortcuts. They need to win, Hana said, standing up to face him. In real combat, the enemy doesn't care about honor. They care about victory. You speak of things you don't understand, Doyen growled. You have never been in real combat. Never faced an enemy who wants to kill you. Your tricks work in a controlled environment, but they mean nothing in actual war. Hana felt her face flush. He was right about her lack of combat experience, but that didn't make her methods wrong. Minji stood up beside her. With respect, Instructor Doyun, efficiency is not a trick. It is intelligence applied to challenge. Stay out of this, Cadet Minji, Doyen said coldly. This is about the humans' corruption of academy values. Vector rose from his seat, flames flickering around his mouth. Instructor Cadet Hana followed all rules. She completed the gauntlet legitimately. If our training methods can be improved by her approach, shouldn't we embrace that? Improved? Doyen's laugh was harsh. She hasn't improved anything. She's shown cadets how to avoid challenges rather than overcome them. The argument spread through the dining hall. Cadets and instructors took sides. Some defended Hana's methods. Others demanded she be expelled for corrupting academy traditions. Commandant Thex Allen entered the hall, his crystalline body reflecting the lights. Enough, he said, and everyone fell silent. Instructor Doyen, Cadet Hana, come with me. They followed the commandant to his office. The walls were covered with commendations, battle records, and images of successful academy graduates. Thex Allen settled behind his desk, studying them both. Instructor Doyen, he said finally, explain your concerns. Sir, this academy was founded on principles of warrior excellence. We train beings to be strong, courageous, and honorable. The humans' methods teach avoidance and exploitation. They create cadets who think like technicians rather than warriors. I see, Thex Allen said. And what do you propose? Disqualify her record. Redesign the gauntlet so it cannot be exploited. Return to traditional training methods. Thex Allen turned to Hana. Your response? Hana chose her words carefully. Sir, I respect warrior traditions, but I don't believe intelligence and honor are opposed. In my research of military history, the greatest commanders didn't just rely on strength. They studied their enemies, understood terrain, and used strategy. That's all I did. I studied the gauntlet like a commander would study a battlefield. She makes a valid point, Thex Allen said. Doyen's scales darkened with anger. With respect, Commandant, you cannot allow one cadet to redefine centuries of tradition. I'm not redefining anything, Hana said. I'm just showing a different approach. Cadets can choose which methods work best for them. And that is the problem. Doyen slammed his fist on the desk. Choice creates confusion. Warriors need clear direction, not options. The office fell silent. Thex Allen's crystalline fingers drummed on his desk. Instructor Doyen, you raise important concerns. However, Cadet Hana has not violated any rules. Her methods are unorthodox but effective. Effectiveness is not everything, Doyen insisted. In war, effectiveness is the only thing, Thex Allen replied. Dismissed. Doyen left, his anger evident in every movement. Hana started to follow, but Thex Allen stopped her. Cadet Hana, remain a moment. She waited nervously as the commandant studied her. You have caused quite a disturbance, he said finally. I didn't mean to, sir. I know. That makes it more interesting. He leaned forward. Do you know why I doubted you when you first arrived? Because I'm small? Weak compared to other species? No. Because I assumed you would think like other species. His crystalline face somehow conveyed a smile. I was wrong. You think differently, and perhaps that's exactly what we need. Sir, the Galactic Coalition faces enemies who don't follow traditional warfare. Pirates who use unconventional tactics. Infiltrators who avoid direct combat. For generations, we've trained warriors to be strong and brave. Perhaps we've forgotten to train them to be adaptable. Hope flickered in Hana's chest. You're saying my methods have value? I'm saying they challenge our assumptions. That's uncomfortable but necessary. He stood up. Continue your training sessions. But be warned, not everyone will welcome change. Some will fight harder to stop you. That evening, Hana returned to her quarters exhausted. She found her datapad smashed, her uniform shredded, and a message scrawled on her wall in burning marks. "Go home, human. You don't belong here." Vector arrived moments later and saw the damage. His roar of rage echoed through the corridor. "Who did this?" "I don't know," Hana said, her voice shaking. She had expected resistance, but this felt different. More personal. More threatening. "I will find them," Vector promised. "And they will regret this." "No," Hana said. "That will just make things worse. They destroyed your belongings." "Threatened you!" "I know." Hana picked up pieces of her broken datapad. "But responding with violence proves their point. That the only answer is force. Then what do you suggest?" Hana thought about it. About everything she had learned at the academy. About the cadets who had embraced her methods and those who had rejected them. About Doyen's angry words and Thexelin's surprising support. "I keep teaching," she said finally. "I keep showing that there's another way." 3 months passed like a storm that gradually calmed into clear skies. The vandalism had stopped after that night, though no one ever discovered who was responsible. More importantly, something had shifted in the academy. Cadets who had once mocked Hana now studied with her. Training methods that had remained unchanged for generations were being questioned and improved. The changes were everywhere. In combat drills, instructors began teaching pattern recognition alongside physical techniques. In tactical simulations, cadets learned to analyze enemy behavior rather than simply react to it. The Academy's library saw record usage as students researched historical battles, studying how commanders had used intelligence to overcome superior forces. Hana's training sessions had grown from a dozen cadets to over 50. Even some instructors attended, sitting quietly in the back and taking notes. Gauntlet times across the Academy had improved dramatically. The average completion time dropped from 2 minutes and 15 seconds to 1 minute and 30 seconds. Several cadets had broken the 1-minute barrier. 3 had come close to Hana's record, with the best time being 14.7 seconds. No one had beaten 11.24 seconds, but they were trying, and that was what mattered. Instructor Doyen had remained hostile, but even he couldn't argue with results. His own students were performing better than ever, even though they used methods he disapproved of. Commandant Thexalin called Hana to his office one afternoon. She arrived to find not just the commandant but several other high-ranking officials. A Draknari admiral, a Korvath general, a Vryn counselor. "Cadet Hana," Thexalin said formally. "These officials represent the Galactic Coalition Defense Council. They have questions about your methods." Hana's heart raced. This was it. They were going to shut down her training sessions. Maybe expel her. The Draknari admiral spoke first. "We've reviewed Academy records from the past 3 months. Combat effectiveness has increased by 32%. Injury rates have decreased by 18%. Graduation projections are the highest in Academy history." "Yes, sir," Hana said cautiously. "We want to know why," the Korvath general said. "What changed?" Hana gathered her thoughts. "Cadets are learning to think strategically. They're not just relying on their natural abilities. They're studying opponents, analyzing situations, and finding efficient solutions." "You mean they're fighting like humans?" the Vryn counselor said. "No, ma'am. They're fighting like themselves, but with additional tools. Intelligence doesn't replace strength or speed or any other advantage. It enhances them." The officials exchanged glances. The admiral spoke again. "The coalition faces evolving threats, enemies who don't fight traditionally. We need warriors who can adapt, who can think." "That's what I've been trying to teach," Hana said. "We know," Thexalin said. "That's why we're making your training methods part of the official curriculum. Starting next cycle, all cadets will receive instruction in tactical analysis and strategic thinking." Hana felt dizzy. "Sir?" "You've proven that intelligence is as valuable as physical capability," the general said. "The Academy must evolve. You've shown us how." After the meeting, Hana walked through the corridors in a daze. She had come here hoping simply to prove humans could succeed. Instead, she had changed how the entire Academy trained its warriors. She found Vector in the dining hall. "You look strange," he observed. "Sick?" "Shocked," Hana said, sitting down. "They're adopting my methods academy-wide." Vector's eyes widened. Then he laughed, flames flickering around his teeth. "Of course they are. You improved everyone who trained with you. The council would be fools to ignore that. I just wanted to pass the gauntlet. You did more than pass it. You broke it. Then you rebuilt it better." He pushed his tray of food toward her. Eat. You look pale. The final test before graduation was announced the following week. All senior cadets would participate in a massive team-based combat simulation. They would defend a colony from a simulated enemy fleet. Success required coordination, strategy, and the ability to work together under pressure. Hana was assigned to Squad 7 along with Vector, Minji, Taeyang, Jiwoo, and surprisingly, Instructor Doyen. The old Draknari had been added as an observer, meant to evaluate the squad's performance. Great, Taeyang muttered during their first planning session. We have an observer who hates everything we do. Then we prove him wrong, Jiwoo said simply. They studied the simulation parameters. The enemy fleet consisted of 20 ships with advanced weapons and shields. The colony had limited defenses and 500 civilian lives at stake. Previous squads had lasted an average of 12 minutes before being overwhelmed. We can't match their firepower, Minji observed. They have more ships, better weapons, superior shields. Then we don't fight them directly, Hana said. She pulled up a tactical display. Look at their formation. They're arrayed for maximum firepower, but that makes them vulnerable to coordinated strikes. Explain, Doyun said gruffly. Hana pointed to gaps in the formation. If we strike here and here simultaneously, we force them to split their attention. While they're responding to those threats, we hit their command ship. The command ship has the heaviest shields, Taeyang said. We can't penetrate them. We don't need to. Hana zoomed in on the command ship's design. Their shield generators are powered by a central reactor. If we overload it, the shields collapse, and how do we overload it? Vector asked. By making them use too much power at once. We fake an attack from multiple angles. They boost shields to maximum, then we hit them with everything we have while their reactor is strained. Jiwoo nodded slowly. It could work, but the timing must be perfect. Which means we need perfect coordination, Minji added. They spent hours planning every detail. Vector would lead the feint from the north, using his squad's speed to draw attention. Jiwoo would command the southern approach, her squad's strength making them look like the primary threat. Taeyang would lead a stealth team to plant false sensor readings, making the enemy think attacks were coming from everywhere. Minji's team would analyze enemy responses in real time, adjusting the plan as needed. And Hana would coordinate everything, timing each element to create maximum confusion. Doyen watched their planning with an expression that might have been grudging respect. Or indigestion, hard to tell. The simulation began at dawn. Squad 7 took their positions, commanding virtual forces through neural interfaces. The enemy fleet appeared on sensors, massive and intimidating. All teams ready? Hana asked. Confirmations came from all squad leaders. Vector, begin your run. Vector's forces shot forward, fast and aggressive. The enemy fleet's northern ships rotated to engage exactly as predicted. Jiwoo, your turn. Jiwoo's heavy assault ships emerged from the south. The enemy split their focus, sending ships to intercept. Taeyang, activate false sensors. Phantom signals bloomed across the battlefield. Enemy ships scattered, trying to respond to threats that didn't exist. Enemy command ship boosting shields, Minji reported. Reactor at 90% capacity. Maintain pressure, Hana ordered. Make them think we're coming from everywhere. The enemy commander fell for it. Shield power spiked to maximum as they tried to defend all angles at once. Now, Hana said, all forces, converge on the command ship. Every ship in Squad 7's fleet turned and fired simultaneously. The concentrated barrage hit the command ship's shields just as the reactor hit critical load. The shields flickered and failed. The command ship took massive damage. Without their leader, the enemy fleet's coordination collapsed. Squad 7 exploited the chaos, picking off ships one by one. Victory came in 9 minutes and 32 seconds. Nearly 3 minutes faster than any previous attempt. The simulation ended. Squad 7 emerged from their neural interfaces to find the observation deck filled with instructors and officials. They were all staring. Commandant Thexalan spoke first. That was remarkable. Not just the victory, but how you achieved it. You functioned as a true unit, using each member's strengths while covering their weaknesses. Doyen stepped forward. The old Draknari looked at Hana for a long moment. I was wrong about you, he said finally. I thought your methods would create weak warriors who avoided challenges. Instead, they create warriors who understand challenges and overcome them intelligently. He extended his clawed hand. Hana shook it, feeling the rough scales against her skin. You have taught me something, human, Doyen continued. That strength and intelligence are not opposed. They are partners. I should have seen that sooner. Better late than never, Hana said with a smile. Graduation day arrived with perfect timing. The ceremony was held in the main arena, the same place where Hana had completed her impossible gauntlet run. Hundreds of cadets filled the space, representing dozens of species from across the galaxy. Families and officials packed the observation decks. The air buzzed with excitement and pride. One by one, cadets crossed the stage to receive their commissions. When Hana's name was called, the applause was deafening. She walked across the stage, her steps steady despite her racing heart. Commandant Thex Allen handed her the commission crystal, a small device that contained her official rank and assignment. Congratulations, Officer Hana, he said. You have earned this. Thank you, sir. I have an additional announcement, Thex Allen said, his voice carrying